Huh.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
We got some stuff to talk about tonight.
Yes, we
Uh,
do.
Quick reminder before we get into weeks and news and everything going on there. The Game of the Year stuff for last year has wrapped up. We're doing Game of the Year differently from now on, and the way that you saw it is the way we're doing it. So please look forward to Game of the Year in the future. A lot of cool stuff coming there, and if you haven't checked those videos out yet, please do, because they were a lot of work, and I'm really proud of them. But we'll go into weeks to start us off here.
All right.
What you been up to,
All right.
Runger?
I got okay. Okay. Kind of had a busy week, but my Studio Ghibli movie was Castle in the Sky.
Okay.
Castle in the Sky. Really good. It's so strange because that's the second. That's the second one.
Yeah.
Not you got Nazca was first one, that one, and there's already a jump in not only the animation style, the smoothness of it, but the
Hmm.
writing, and just compared, you can see that they're okay. We're really getting the swing.
Right.
Starting to get the swing of this or the hang of it. It feels like in that one. Uh, it does. It follows, this I know this is intentional, but I don't know if everybody knows it. It does follow in many ways, the same beats as House Moving Castle, the
Yeah.
book on which it was inspired. Well before they made House Moving Castle,
Hmm.
and the I guess in a way like how they did that Little Mermaid with Ponyo.
Right.
This may be like what he was trying to do with that. And I didn't upon first watching it, it didn't really hit me that way.
Yeah.
But you know, repeated watching and going into it, like the characters and everything, and beats that happen throughout the story, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, they really did give little nods in there that I don't know. I say that, but there's nothing on screen that does it. It's
Yeah.
maybe the action and the movement on screen or something like that. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but um, this movie's gone kind of from like, yeah, it's a good movie to, you know what, I really like this one.
Right.
Uh, well,
There's
you
a lot
get
of fun references in it too. I didn't mean to cut you
yeah,
off there.
that's okay.
Castle Cagliostro has a golem in it, and the golems in Castle in the Sky look like those golems. And then later on, Children Who Chase Lost Voices has a golem in it that is referencing Castle in the Sky golem, all made by the
Yeah,
same people. And it's just
yeah.
really
Well,
cool
if
to
you
see
look,
that.
there's a few others like the little girl, boss's daughter, the
Hmm.
little redhead that's out in the street. Pirates, I want to see. You could have, that could have been the animation for certain scenes in Ponyo.
Right.
She kind of
Hmm.
she has that little bit of a look. But there's scenes, and like starting at the beginning of it, you just get great. You understand where the characters stand.
Right.
You realize you don't know her name yet, but you realize that Sheeta is yes, it is. Yes, it is on the Golem exactly. Uh, there's even more of them in this one. Uh, the but the first scene you get with Sheeta in the airship, and there's a scene where um, and he just lays out her whole character arc and done very well in her view. She's obviously very brave because she takes a
Right.
bottle and knocks one of her captors upside the head, and you got to decide when you do that: are you going to swing hard enough
Right.
to incapacitate this person? Because if not, you know, they're going to be angry.
That's right.
Gonna be angry, and so you get to see her, uh, not only her bravery, but like her thoughtfulness, because it kind of builds up to that scene before what she does out of obviously extreme circumstances.
Hmm.
Um, there's a thought process behind that,
Right.
and obviously there's strength in that, right? And then you get Pavu, who is he's an orphan in a mining town, and he
Hmm.
works with the miners, and he's just a tough, simple, salt of the earth kid, man.
Right.
You know, um, and I love how the miners are going to play it out like that. But at one point he says, "Hey, the miners are, oh no, all my friends are miners. They'll be able to take care of themselves."
Right.
You know, um, it's a really good one, and it doesn't. There's some deep stuff in there, but I think one of the beauties of some of the best Studio Ghibli stuff, is while there's deep philosophical ideas that are drawn through them,
Hmm.
they still work on a really simple scale
Absolutely.
and and a real simple. It doesn't have to be deep, and it can still be
Yeah,
you can still enjoy it.
almost two
And
movies at the same time.
in a way, yeah, in a way, I think that's a interesting way of looking at it for sure. The but I definitely think this is one of the for me right now. This is one of the better ones.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
I like
enjoyed it.
Castle in the Sky a lot.
That was something I got to watch this week.
I
So
watched a movie too.
yes,
I watched I actually watched two movies. I watched The King's Man, which came out a month ago in theaters and is already on Hulu. Uh which is
okay,
weird, but sure.
yeah.
Um
Yeah,
watched
I don't know
The
I haven't read the book either way,
Kingsman
but I
prequel.
don't know. Well, now there's two. Okay, so this is the third movie, but oh
Right.
yeah, we talked about this before, right? This is the third movie in the series,
Hmm?
but it goes back to the start.
Yeah,
Is
it
that
goes back.
is
It's
it the
in
young?
World War One.
Oh, nice. There is a war that does not get enough credit.
That's
Enough
right.
look at it.
And it's yes. I want to clarify. I really liked this movie. It is a very, very good World War One movie. It is not a very good Kingsman movie.
That's interesting.
The Kingsman movies are all really silly and weird and bizarre. And because this is set in World War One and they're focusing on World War One, this movie's kind of depressing in a major way. Uh,
Ooh.
and it doesn't really like so the first 30 minutes of the movie are just like set up. And it's interesting setup. It could have been
Mm,
set up to a Kingsman movie. Then you have 20 minutes with Rasputin, and that's all I'll say without spoiling things for people. That is just a Kingsman movie. For that 20 minutes, it is Kingsman. Rasputin is being Rasputin. He's fighting while doing the Russian dance. He's having a great time. It is a Kingsman movie for 20 minutes, and then it is one of the most depressing and heartfelt World War One movies about what it means to have to fight this war, the toll that it had on mankind, what it did to people, and it's the total shifts out of nowhere, and it's so good. But
yeah. Yeah. Look, no, no, no. Me no want deep. Me want stabby stab. Whack with cane.
right, I was looking for a Kingsman movie, and so it was a big surprise. I really enjoyed it,
That's
but
good.
it's definitely a World War One movie, which, like you said, is an era that doesn't get covered very often, and it's
Yeah.
pretty faithful. Obviously, there's some big changes, but for the sake of being, a movie about spies, but it's pretty faithful for the most part as to like how things happened, and it's really heartfelt. There's some really hard hitting moments. There's a couple moments in the trenches that are just like, yep,
Mm.
yep. Is there a talking bat? No, there's not a talking bat, unfortunately. Um, but no, it's a very, very good movie. It doesn't feel like the other Kingsman movies. I think it's my least favorite of those movies, but as a movie, I like it more than either of the other two movies. Like, it's such a weird thing,
Mm.
but it's cool. It's a great World War One movie. But
All right. All
I,
right. Well,
I don't know anything about the characters halfway through the movie, and by the end of the movie, I still really don't, because it's not about them. It's about World War One.
that's kind of that is a little bit surprising, based on what that franchise is built off of.
Yeah.
Where they go with it and what they do with it. So
I watched that, and then at my girlfriend's behest, I watched Stargate,
the original one.
the original, because I should probably say now, and I might get crucified in the comments for this. I have never seen Stargate, SG1, Atlantis, none of them.
I have seen it, but it's been a long time.
That first movie is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you
very
still
solid.
fun. It's
Yeah,
fun
right.
franchises and
Yeah. The
yeah.
effects are really good. The effects are wonderful and 90s in such a cool way, on Atlantis. Yeah. No, it's very, very cool. I think that it has all the hallmarks that, like, I understand why it got big,
Yeah.
Like the scene where, and again, trying not to spoil too much for anybody that's never seen this 20-year-old movie. But
Excuse me,
I
sir.
had
The
so
the 90s were like 30 years ago, sir.
oh, you're so right. Um, but like
Yeah.
the scene where O'Neill is like, "Well, what are they saying?" was like, well, how would he know? He just got here, man. He may be a linguist, but he's not magic.
Yes,
And
he
he
is.
goes, I
Yes,
don't
he is.
know. I was like, thank you. Because
Ah,
movies normally just have him know,
yeah.
Like, nah, he's got no idea. It's
Mm.
very, very good movie. And I'm really excited to start Stargate, the series.
Yeah, it's got MacGyver in it.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excited.
Richard Dean Anderson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really enjoyed it. I do think it's really funny that the scientist Jackson has the '90s cut, where from the distance, like when he's in the back of a room, it is impossible to tell if he's a man or a woman because the '90s cut was so universal. Like the '90s, like shaggy short hair somehow,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful because I love that haircut so much. It took me back to my childhood and made me so happy. But
Oh man.
yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was a really
Yeah.
interesting movie.
There's a few people that feel the way Faith Ann does, that I know that are fans of it,
Right.
that they really like the series. And I think some of that, especially in the first couple of seasons, because you can kind of get like take your time on. They can take the time in the story
Yeah.
on like what actually is going on, so you get a little more in depth with it.
Yeah.
So, but that's a couple of interesting movies
Yeah.
lined up. We've got. I will put a trigger warning for next week because I'm watching Grave of Fireflies next, and yeah, I will be watching it a few times. As
That
to
is
go
a
through.
movie that if you can, you watch once for the rest of your life.
Mm.
And when you say, "What do you mean by that, Trey?" I mean you watch it once, and every once in a while you think about it again, and you become horribly, horribly depressed. I do still need to see Afterlife. I do. That
Yeah,
movie needs. I need to watch it.
there you
If
go.
if like Kingsman, it comes to streaming immediately, then I'll be good.
I can't say nothing. I am so far out of the loop and so far behind. Of course, of course, I worked on music so much this week. I got to get new strings in. I've busted
Right?
the two
Wow.
main guitars I use. There's strings broke on them now, but
Yeah.
yeah, I still need to see Far From Home.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
good
so
movie.
yeah, I know, and I'm way behind on that. So I will
What else you
for
been
sure.
up to this week?
Well, like I said, the music. I put out a every Sunday at 3. I put out a song on Rumble. Just type in Rungren in the search bar, and it'll go down,
I had
and it'll
that
give my
link
songs.
up. You grab it again.
Okay, thank you.
Post that for people. I'm gonna post my favorite song again though. I haven't listened to the new one yet, but I'm gonna post my favorite song.
Okay, right on.
Go listen to that song. It's very
See, cool. Um, so done that, but I did dive into some Lotro, play some Lord of the Rings online.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I went and got a couple of. I was mad at them. I had used a couple mithril coins to port back to somewhere, and then apparently I ported back in before the world did, and I dropped and died, and I was mad at them. Of
Yeah.
course, it's a small company, and they're catching up on patches from Gundabad, the
Right.
last big, right? So I get on it, and it's running great.
Yeah.
Uh, so I run on. Yeah, I managed to knock out a couple of levels. They uh they they also had a big update. Well, look, if anybody has played Lord of the Rings at any time, I will say one of the big things is not too long ago they updated their website.
Right.
And that's for most companies. I'd be like, don't do that like once a quarter. It's like,
Yeah.
no, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
This attention. But they did put out an update that I wanted to give a. There's a whole new area for level 40 to 45, a new raid. Uh, what is that raid called? Hold on. The raid is the Hidden Horde of Abankara. So it
Okay.
looks, yeah, they put new premium housing in, which I've never had a premium house. Um, the housing's pretty good. They've got the legendary reward track in now, which we've been waiting on.
Right.
Uh, I know a lot of these terms would mean nothing to people, but two things for people who might be thinking about playing, and playing for free. They got rid of the gold restriction. Everybody gets a premium wallet now. So
Ooh.
all currency, taxidermy stuff, anything you pick up that works as currency in the game. There's a bunch of them. My look, my Lotro is so realistic. My wallet is just like my regular wallet. It's full of a bunch of crap I don't use. But the the they did it also, and look, this is the wallet is kind of like, yeah, that's really really cool. But one of the big ones is even on the free player, your class, race, and virtue traits unlock when you hit the right level.
Okay.
And yeah, so you no longer have to buy those to open those up or be a
Awesome.
VIP. Yeah, and those are small things in like your character, especially towards the end game. It's
Right.
you've picked those to help your build, and so that you'll have a variety of those, and it's just really nice. Another little way to customize the character. So that this all the good Lord of the Rings news I
Yeah.
have
Right.
tonight. Uh,
Yeah, we'll get
I
back
know
to
you got
that.
yeah. I know there was something. You said you got something big. What is
I
it?
played 2 MMOs this week, not counting 14.
Oh, not counting
I
14.
not counting 14.
Oh, okay.
Just like I did a video on Lord of the Rings Online for the first hour of game, I did a video on Guild Wars 2 for the first hour of game. You'll be seeing that
Oh,
over the next
wow.
couple weeks.
Yeah, I haven't played it in
And
eight.
that game is cool. I love the character creation. I love the starting zone. And then I want to say I really like this game. I want to make sure that's very clear. The game goes, "All right, now we'll see you again at level 10. Go get to level 10." That's when your personal story unlocks. It's like,
Mm.
"Okay, so I'll go do world events and help out these NPCs with quests right around the starting area, and I'll branch out and go hit some waypoints and discover some stuff, and I'll be back when I'm level 10 at some point." And
Well, that's
so it's old MMO design, right?
well, I was gonna say that's that's still in the holdover from Guild Wars 1 because you had that whole starting area where the battlefield was, and I
Yeah.
forgot the name of the bad guys. Starts with a G, I think.
I don't
But the whole
remember. It's
battlefield
been way too
area.
long.
But yeah, you spent a certain amount of time in there, and yeah, it is old design. Um, it's not always, it's not always level.
Right.
Sometimes, like when you finish this quest line, we'll open up the world for you.
Right. And I like it and dislike it at the same time because the openness of it is really nice. When you switch to a new weapon, a different type of weapon, you get a whole different set of abilities that you can use. And so it's really fun every time you get a new weapon that you didn't have before because you go, okay, am I going to like this one more or less than the last one? And you can switch between two different weapons like without having to open a menu basically. So you have like a bunch of different customization there, but not every class can use every weapon. And I got a specialty thing because I bought the expansions because I was enjoying it.
All right.
And hey, figure I'll make a video on it. Probably cover it on the channel. Go ahead and get the expansions. I got a really cool weapon skin, and I get to choose what weapon type. And I didn't know the class I was using couldn't use rifles, so I chose the rifle because it looked cool.
Well then,
And then
read the
you get a quest later on where they hand you a rifle that you can use in the quest, even though your class can't use a rifle. But I chose the hunter, and I'm enjoying, or the ranger, and I'm enjoying it. It's fun, but I definitely see some of the flaws of. I want a little bit more direction, which is fine. I've hit level 10 now. I'm gonna go back and do my personal story, but
which that's something because we're talking about old style MMO. We're really talking about like this. That's when you're talking about even Guild Wars. You're talking about like a second wave,
right,
right? And yeah, that's something because like in EverQuest or even earlier that, which I don't have. I watched somebody play it. I didn't play it, but the
right,
not King's Quest, Barrett series, Ultima, excuse me,
yeah,
Ultima
Ultima,
Online. You know, you didn't get clues.
right,
You went and talked to people. You had to type in the right sentence
yeah,
for them to give you the right answer and things like that. And uh, there was some kind of powerful, when you got through with a quest
right,
or something like that. But it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't hold for. uh, that second generation of MMOs on.
Right.
I'm not gonna say the new games because no, it's been that way for for a
Right.
long time. Like I said, I've been playing Lord of the Rings Online for 14 years,
Mhm.
so it's been at least that long.
It does make it perfect to watch Tokusatsu too, because because I can just level.
Mm,
But it's it's fun. It just I think the gameplay itself is worth it. I'm excited to get to some good more story stuff because I really liked that opening story. It was really cool. It made me care about a small team of characters really quickly.
mm.
But just gotta get through there. They gave me a max boost as part of buying the expansions, and I was like, yeah, I'm not touching this. I'll use this on a different character
Yeah,
to try out a different class.
yeah.
I wanna see what this game actually is like, not just skip to end game.
Mm.
But I had the opposite problem that I had with Guild Wars 2 with the other MMO that I played,
Mm.
which is Lost Ark.
Oh. Okay.
So I tried out Lost Ark. I spent a long time in character creation in Lost Ark, and I recorded a video on it too. That one will go up on the channel as well. I spent a long time in character creation. This character creation is good, not because like the what you can do with the character to make them look good, but because the way it lets you demo the class specializations.
Oh.
It literally just drops you into a training room where you can try out the class special. I wish it lets you try out all the classes instead of just the one you'd already chosen.
Mm.
But the effects in this game and what the classes can do are so cool. I
Just
chose,
the visualizations.
yeah, the specs are so different. I chose Gunner, male Gunner. There's different
Okay.
specs for different genders for the different classes.
Okay.
I chose male gunner because I had the option between sharpshooter, deadeye, and artillerist. Sharpshooter uses a bow, has a bunch of cool flashy jumps and stuff that they can do. Artillerist uses like a big multi-gun, kind of like the machinist has in FF14, like flamethrower, rockets, lasers, Vulcan rifle. But I chose deadeye because deadeye lets you switch between 3 guns, twin pistols, a shotgun, and a rifle. You can switch between them on the
Looks like
fly,
a good loadout.
right? And the animations are so clean. It feels really, really good to use these. You just flip to the shotgun, boom, boom. Flip arms, boom. Rifle, fire, twin pistols, throw a pistol, shoot it with the other pistol so that it starts spinning and firing. It looks really good. It feels really good. But everything dies so fast.
Yeah, it's a little too easy.
Yeah. And it has
Mm.
the opposite problem of Guild Wars 2, where it's extremely restrictive with the story. Guild Wars 2 goes, hey, no more story till you hit level 10. Go explore this big open world. Lost Ark
Yeah.
goes, hey, you got to follow this story. Go down these hallways, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I just want some freedom in this world. This combat's so good.
Well, maybe later. Maybe
Yeah,
it'll be
hopefully
like
so.
Final Fantasy things will open up. Here's something I want you to pay attention to next time you're playing it, though, because I have a theory.
Hmm.
Because you talk about the animation of everything, and it feels good to use the weapons.
Yeah.
Um, notice this. Do me a favor and notice the sounds that they have for like when holstering or unholstering the weapon.
Oh, I already have. It's so
Okay.
good. When
Yeah.
you
Because
switch the weapon, it's a different sound for which weapon you stow
yeah,
away. Oh,
it's amazing what those little sounds. It's amazing. Look, it's amazing what a Foley artist can do,
yes.
right? To make things feel better.
Yeah.
And it's like it's things you won't notice. You won't think about it while you're doing it, but man, it just makes everything feel right.
Oh, yeah.
That's
It
cool.
was genius, too, to have this class where you can switch with one of 2 buttons. You can switch back or forward. And since there's 3, it means you can just cycle between all 3 in whichever order you want. And it feels so good. Some of the other classes look cool, too. I want to try those out. There is a neat little thing where even the first time you're doing the prologue, you could skip the prologue. I didn't, of course. But it means that I can just skip the prologue for any other classes I want to play. However, both these games have one of the same problems, which I'm sure you've run into as well. It's a common MMO problem of you can only have so many characters, and there's probably fewer character slots than there are classes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's the trick.
But you can
That's a,
buy more.
yeah. You can always buy more character slots and
Oh,
everything. Which character slots is something. All right, it's like all right, you're keeping that on your end.
yeah.
You know, there's some stuff that's no, but I think that's another discussion entirely.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But it's been fun. I want to put some more time into it. It's very different as an MMO because there are people all around me, but we're not really helping each other because how quick things die.
Mm,
There's no need to help each other. You know, it just you kill them. Nobody can help me with that. Whereas in Guild Wars, it was like, yeah, people are helping me all the time.
yeah. And to answer the larger question, you can have one. Your character can have one regular house, either the deluxe or the smaller one. Uh, your character can have as many premium houses as you want. They're not going to stop you from because you're going to more
Right.
likely you're spending money to get that. You have as many premiums out now. Your kinship can only have one
Right.
uh, premium house. So it depends on yes and no. On the normal houses, you can pay for it, which are good. I like them.
Right.
Even the kinship house, the you can pay for it with you can do that in game. You don't have to go outside or to the local store to buy anything to do that.
Hmm.
So you can still get one house, but yeah, it'd be one house per character unless you want to spend some money and get the big
Yeah.
fancy premium houses,
I'm
which
gonna
are
keep
cute.
I'm gonna keep checking both these games out. I have another MMO that I want to get an hour into as well for the sake of a video, and then all of that is for the sake of a different video at some point. But little teasers for stuff. But we'll see how all that turns out. It could be that Lost Ark starts you at level 10 as well, which is really interesting.
Okay.
I don't understand why really, but hey, I got a lot of skills already, so that's fine. Um,
Yeah. Well, maybe they wanted to start you out competent, and they figured instead of just starting out at level one competent, they'd give you at least, hey, okay, I've been doing this for a minute. Then
yeah,
coming in as a
and
character.
your character does have like a little intro story when you first start off. That's like, hey, this is not your first adventure. You've been an adventurer for a little while. Here's the thing you did last. And so it's like, well, that seemed really cool. I kind of wish I could have played that. That seemed really awesome. But but yeah, I'm excited to play more of it. Again, I'm
Okay.
a little concerned about difficulty. I'll put it
Well,
this way: I got into a dungeon, got to the boss of the dungeon, and killed him in 3 abilities.
yeah, that might be a bit easy. But I'm kind of interested to see if it opens up and starts demanding a little bit more out of you.
Yeah. And then I did one more thing with my week, which is 40K
Okay.
as usual.
Yeah.
Uh, so I want to highlight first we were able to get our hands on a limited edition, special Christmas edition Goblin for the orcs, which is the Red Gobbo. Let me put my arm back up again.
Yeah. Cover your face.
And got him built.
Oh my gosh.
He's wonderful. Look at his little smile.
Oh my. All right.
So
All right.
great. Those are going away very soon. Uh, then I was able to build the Adeptus Mechanicus team, the AdMech Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Guy with a long gun.
That looks cool.
Uh, and
I
it's
like the
really
retro.
funny because my cat broke his arms off, and I had to. There it goes. And I had to reattach them.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of AdMech guys. Just they're very cool.
I do. They got a like specialized stormtrooper look about them. I like them.
Yeah, they're machine men from Mars. They're gonna be really interesting to run too because they have a heavy rule that means they can't move and shoot. And people actually online are like, "Hey, then don't build." You have two options when you build them out of the box. You can build them as Rangers or Vanguards, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, build them as Vanguards because Vanguards don't have that rule." And it's like, "Yeah, but the Rangers look cooler." So play with that rule and see how it goes. This is their leader. Highlight him.
I don't know.
He's got
Moving and shooting is stupid powerful. I mean, there's real
it
world
is.
examples of why, you know, of I don't know that one guy got what's his name? Kublai Khan,
Yeah,
Genghis Khan.
yeah.
Yeah, the Step Riders. Yeah,
So I'm
they're
excited for
moving.
them.
They're moving and shooting. It's not fair.
It was Simba. I'm blaming the cat. The cat. I was reaching for the cat, and knocked over a box, and the box landed on his arm. So I'm blaming the cat, but it was really my fault. Um,
That
but
dude's out.
they're done. So I started on the Death Guard.
Oh, that guy looks vicious.
Yeah, he's
Can't,
got a power claw.
can't quite get his head
Get
in there.
detail in here. Come on. Come on. I'm gonna just start taking pictures of them early and then having the pictures to show on the
So
podcast.
you might want to do that. Keep
Come
it letting
on, man.
get a good show.
There we
Oh,
go.
oh yeah, yeah. That definitely brings out a lot more detail.
He
That
was
guy looks mean.
wonderful. He's a Plague Guard champion. And then, due to a very nice gift, was able to get 2 more boxes. So almost have all the factions now for Kill Team,
Oh wow.
which is great. Was able to get a box of Kamarites
Drakari?
for the
Drakari?
Drukhari and a box of
Nice.
Tau
Oh wow.
Pathfinders. So here's
You
little what
got
they
some
look
work
like.
ahead of you, sir. You
Yeah,
got some work ahead of you.
Tau
Oh, man.
Pathfinders
Nice. Very nice.
and Drukhari Kamarites.
Yeah, those guys look kind of scary too.
So now, faction wise, all we're missing for Kill Team is, and I gotta paint all these still. All we're missing for Kill Team is Eldar, uh, Chaos Demons, and Chaos Space Marines and Tyranids. That's it. We have kill teams of literally every other faction. So, very.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a box of 10 and a box of 13. So 23 more there, and I have 5 more Death Guard to build. So, got a lot of building still to go. But then I still have Space Marine kill teams to build. But
Ah,
what I'm saying is, once we have all the setup done, gonna be a lot of different stuff that can be made. So I hope everybody's excited for that, because I know I am. I really enjoy playing 40K, but my favorite part is still building them.
well, that's cool.
I'm getting a
And then,
lot faster at it too, which is nice.
look, if you're gonna fall in love and play this game, enjoying building them is probably a good thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty good start.
Yeah,
So
it'd be a good way to.
yeah, we got
Ah,
a lot planned there in the coming months, so please look forward to that. That's my week.
right on, man. Right on, dude. That's really cool. I'm looking forward to you actually getting to see you pair off different teams against each other.
Yeah.
See the
It's going to be
difference.
really exciting to have. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm sorry.
I just want to see how they balanced out with the
Yeah.
different abilities because you have the ground rules that are the same, and then the different abilities, right, for each.
Mhm. I'm really
For each.
excited for the AdMech Rangers versus the Tau Pathfinders because they're both shooting heavy teams. And so that's going to be a really fun matchup. I think Death Guard versus Thousand Suns or Death Guard versus Custodes is going to be really cool because it's very few models that are all really hard to kill that can just get in there and really slug it out with each other.
Hmm.
And then I'm really excited to put all of that. Like I have a plan for a video that I don't want to spoil here, but it will involve multiple factions versus one
Okay.
big thing.
Okay.
That technically isn't kill team rules, but I'm gonna homebrew the rules
Fair enough.
because I think for the sake of the video, it'll be worth it. But yeah, I'm really excited.
I think the models he showed on the back, all those models you showed on the back of the box are in that box. Yes.
Yes, all of these are in the
Yeah.
same box. So you have
Yes.
10 Kamarites and different Tau. And you don't even see them all there because you have the drones as well.
Hmm.
A lot of stuff. And please look forward to all the painting videos because I'm gonna have to learn how to paint, so I'm definitely making videos on that so that I can hopefully,
Yeah,
let everybody
yeah,
enjoy the misery.
yeah. I don't know, man. I get you got a couple of crafty people might be able to help you out, but
Yeah.
for most of it, you're gonna be on your own.
I'm excited. I think the first step is to prime them all. I'm going to have to pick a day where it's not too windy, it's not too cold, it's not too hot, and just take everything outside and prime it.
Yeah, well, and yeah, not too humid.
It's going to be all day long. Yeah, or
Yeah,
humid.
you're gonna probably have about 1 day to do it.
Yep, that's right. Get it all done that day when I can.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have any
Mhm.
reviews this week,
No.
but we do have some news and some announcements.
Yes. Yes, we do.
So, if we're covering announcements, we should probably start with like the big one, right? Capcom had some game announcement.
Mm.
And specifically, they announced the Capcom Fighting Collection.
What does this cover?
So this is 10
Is this a
different fighting games.
okay? So, because that's a big library. I'm just saying.
Yes, it very much
You know.
is. Turning reviews for announcements, that's right. Hey, Will. And they're all coming out June 24th in one big collection.
Okay.
And it is Darkstalkers, which
Okay.
is pretty hype. Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors. Night
Yeah.
Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge.
Okay.
Darkstalkers Revenge 2, Vampire Hunter. Vampire Savior, The Lord of Vampire. Vampire Savior 2, The Lord of Vampire. Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Collection.
So now we're getting the stuff that I would expect to be in the Capcom
Yeah.
fighting collection, but that's not that it's bad where it started at all.
Right.
That was actually quite surprising and refreshing.
Yeah,
But
good to have
go ahead.
Darkstalkers back.
Yeah.
Red Earth. Haven't heard that name in forever.
Mm-mm.
Super Gym Fighter Mini Mix.
Wow.
Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo.
Okay.
And Cyberbots Full Metal Madness. Which is pretty great.
All right, this has got to be a volume 1.
Yeah, there's more coming, for sure.
There's because that's some out of their years of doing games. That's that's some. They reached out and grabbed some there. Let's just put it that way. Um, bless you. The yeah, that list really surprises me honestly because they've got so many titles that are still have tournaments today.
Yeah.
On the now that well, of course, now I think about it, there might be a bit kind of a deal with using any of the X-Men or the X-Men versus
Yeah,
Capcom
there could be.
or
There
things
could
like
be.
that. So that might have a bit to do with what they pick.
And
now that I think
unfortunately, we
about
won't get Tatsunoko versus Capcom ever
it.
because there's way too much copyright deals to go there.
Ooh,
But yeah, it's a pretty cool collection. I'm surprised
It
by a
is.
lot of the stuff in there. I'm really surprised to see Cyberbots.
yeah. That's not like I said. When you say if you go up to anybody who's been playing games for a long time and go, hey, what would be in a Capcom fighting collection?
Right.
There, most of the games or a lot of those games that you mentioned, I don't think that would make
Yeah.
a lot of people's lists.
But that's not the only fighting game they announced, and the second one has come to some controversy that we'll have to talk about.
Mm.
Street Fighter 6 has been announced.
Well, that makes sense with the collection coming out.
Yeah.
Want to launch a new game, get everybody excited about some of the classic stuff you've done, your history in gaming. You want to launch something great and new, and not do anything. You just need. They just want the new game looking pretty and doing cool. Maybe one or two new characters.
Yeah.
Don't do anything crazy.
There's some really interesting stuff that's come out from this too, like how there's some interesting. Oh, hold on, I forgot to mute. We got some music coming in there. Some interesting characters that are coming back that have changed a little bit over the years. Like Ryu, who apparently is now huge. He's just Chris Redfield from Resident Evil Village. Why? Why did they do this to Ryu? Why
Look,
would you do this to him?
look. Do not mess with Chun-Li's thighs.
I,
That's all I'm saying.
is she gonna get wider too? Because Ryu is like now.
Maybe so.
I just
What?
don't know
Oh my god,
why.
that makes me. There's a few other characters in there that are really interested in how they look now.
Yeah, for anybody who
He's
hasn't
the,
seen him, here's the new Ryu.
wow.
Get rid of reviews for this week. They can go. The ice cream can go.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You know, if you tinted that green and went, hey, this is a still from the new Hulk animation they're gonna put out, I'd been like, oh,
Yeah,
that looks cool. It
yeah,
looks good.
100%. What are
This is a
you
great one. I
doing
like
to
that.
Ryu? That's not the only thing that's come out though. Give me just a second. Sorry,
Oh,
folks. My sinuses are killing me.
just wait. There's more.
So it turns out that the logo for Street Fighter 6, which I'll also pull up for anybody that hasn't seen it, I'll pull up the logo as well. And the logo is extremely easy to pull up because it's from Adobe.
And how would you know it's from Adobe? What makes it? What makes you say Adobe?
Because it's Adobe's stock site. They paid $80 for this and added a 6 to it.
Uh,
This is the new logo, but with a 6 on the side. And I'm gonna remove this image now that you've seen that, and then I'm gonna pull up just an image of the new logo,
yeah.
and you'll see it. You'll know as soon as you see it. You'll go, Or better yet, here's one that somebody's compiled. There we go.
No, 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 no,
There we
no.
go.
The S and the F are slanting.
Yeah,
You're reaching there, buddy.
there we go. So I want to remind you that Capcom has been making Street Fighters for a long time. This is their premier franchise. This is their best-selling franchise.
What? Why change it? Look, if I say Street Fighter, you have an image of how those two
Yes, I
words look
do.
in your head.
Yes, I
They're
do.
yellow and orangey red, and
Yep.
they're kind of, yes.
From
There's no
this,
point in changing it.
from this beautiful logo.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You say
To
Street Fighter to
this.
people playing that, that's what you're gonna see. That's what people think of, right? Not that. You know,
Why?
this looks like a logo for like, look, UFC's hot right now.
Yeah.
We can't afford to pay fighters, so we're gonna get people to fight in the street.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad.
It's
Bad.
those. It looks like a K-pop group's image. I mean, it probably does. You know those memes of like, "Hey
Yes, but
boss,
they paid yen.
our website's looking outdated. We need to make it look good." And he goes, "I'll fix it," and then they just change the logo to be like way more simplified and terrible. And everybody's like, "Yes, this is perfect. Thank you." Like the Firefox when they got rid of the fox. What is this?
What are you doing?
So yeah, that's Street Fighter 6. We don't know anything about really how many characters are in it yet. My gut
Yeah,
says there's going to be
it's 30.
6 to 8 again, and you'll have to pay the rest for DLC, just like Street Fighter 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know,
That's the number.
your DLC money's needed so they can pay for Adobe logos.
Hey, have you seen the price for having Adobe Premium?
It's pretty expensive, but
There's a reason their game's $100. Golly.
do you think that's why Ryu's so much like wider now too? Is because they just got like the concept art for Ryu came off of like DeviantArt. They paid an artist for it.
Well, now I really want. Now I really want to see Ken,
Yeah, I do too.
right? And Guile.
Guile's
And
hair is gonna be like this wide.
how freaking big is Haggard? If Ryu's that big,
How long are Dhalsim's limbs?
just saying, you know. And I think even M. Bison's supposed to be like a foot taller than Ryu.
How wide are Bison's shoulders?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Bison walks through a crowd and people go, "Oh, did you feel that earthquake as that mountain just walked past us?"
God.
So yeah, it's a weird thing. It's nobody knows why they're doing this or what the purpose is. Um, but maybe it'll be good.
Here's what I'm worried about. I'm afraid they're gonna try to go 3D,
Yeah,
and that's not the format of that game.
yeah,
You can go 3D environment all you want to, but the Street Fighter is a 2D side to side game.
yeah.
And that's what it is. But you showing me that picture, I don't know where that's from.
Right,
Where that falls in the gameplay, but it
right.
really makes me wonder. Um, yeah, let me go 3D.
There's a part of me that wonders too if they didn't like see how much people love Guilty Gear Strive and go, well, we got to make it more like Strive because Soul Bad Guy's chest is huge. Soul
Yeah,
Bad Guy
see,
is like barrel chested, but it's because he's not human.
well, not that. I mean, that's a completely different. Yeah, it's a fighting game. It's a completely different scenario,
Yeah,
completely different setup. It's a completely different feel.
right.
You know, that's what people love about it. It's set apart. The same way with Street Fighter.
Mhm.
Street Fighter has its own feel. There's some games I love. Um, Samurai Showdown probably one of the biggest
Yeah,
one,
Sam show's
especially part
great.
two. And
Omaru.
it's got its own feel. Tekken's 3D. It's got its own feel.
Mhm.
Everything had it had its own style, its own way of working, its own
Right.
combos.
It's so weird too to have like King of Fighters coming back and like being truer to its original character designs, and now Street Fighter's coming back and being way more deviant to its original character designs.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it might be trying too hard over the top thing. Just
Yeah.
because you can do those graphics doesn't mean you should.
Right. And we'll be getting more news on it in summer of this year. So
Mhm.
guarantee we'll get at least one more character reveal then.
We'll probably get the main cast.
Yeah, I think so too. The last big game announcement that we have for this week is kind of a weird one. Kind of came out of nowhere. Nobody saw it coming. Soul Hackers 2. Soul Hackers was a SMT like that came out many, many years ago and then died, right? Like it got no more. It's like we got Live A Live last week and then Soul Hackers 2 this week. It's sure. Why
Yeah,
not?
let's go. Yeah, let's release some obscure stuff.
Yeah,
I
let's
don't
do it.
know where this. Who has this? Who has Soul Hackers 2?
I think it's Bandai. Let me double check.
Bandai Namco.
Think so. Also, they will be doing some Persona crossovers because it's owned by or it's made by the Shin Megami Tensei team. Atlas has it. I'm sorry, Atlas has it.
Okay.
So Sega is
Hmm.
publishing it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The original Soul Hackers came out on the 3DS on the Sega Saturn in 1997
Wow.
and had a Japanese only re-release on August 30th, 2012 for the 3DS.
Yeah, Sega Saturn did not do well here.
Right. But people say it's one of the best SMT games that we never got, really. So
Okay.
I'm excited for Soul Hackers 2.
Yeah. The it's kind of interesting because you talk about this and you talked with last week we talked about Live Alive, Live Alive.
Yeah.
These games that are pictures because you grew up through the time you play games from that time.
Mm.
You don't get that snapshot of stuff that they were digging in Japan.
Right.
They're playing on the same. You're playing the same system. A lot of the games come out of the same studios,
Right.
but there was stuff that they were getting that we didn't get to try out.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's kind of just from a looking back and going, wow, okay, that's I don't know, it's kind of exciting
Yeah.
that they're
Makes me hope that we'll get some Wonder Swan game. Yeah, 25 years. Like, there's a whole lineup of Digimon games on the Wonder Swan that we just never got. They're supposedly really good to the point where the main character from those games shows up in the third season of Digimon, the TV show.
Digimon.
And when we got that in the States, nobody knew who he was. He walks on screen and he has all the you should know me energy in the world, and
Yeah.
nobody does.
Well, we didn't get the the Fujicom systems here,
Yeah.
which were available in a lot of other places,
Mhm.
like since the late '80s. But
Yeah,
I
we
don't
didn't
think we
get
used
we didn't
till
get
after
Famicom,
2000.
Wonder Swan. We didn't get any of them.
Famicom, Famicom. Thank you, not Fujicom. Famicom. Yeah, that was after you see that stuff start showing up here to what they'd kind of fallen and
Right.
were just knocked off into the after 2000.
Hmm.
So,
Pretty crazy. And speaking of crazy, let's get into news.
all right, all right. Um, this first one here,
Hmm.
uh, I'm really kind of here. I'm very interested to hear your take on. Uh, and then after you give that, because I'm sure you're gonna have answer that, I might give your take on. I give my take on another uh, long running franchise, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And I think yours is going to be a lot more hopeful than mine will be.
Yeah. So Final Fantasy XIV had a new letter from the producer live, which was specifically about the next 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV. Naoki Yoshida started it by saying, "Hey, I'm not quitting. Stop saying that I am. Stop asking that I am. I'm not. I'm a lifer. I'm here for the rest of the reality. Uh,
Yeah.
not quitting."
Hold on, hold on. This company is in Japan, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, also went into, hey, we're not doing NFTs with Final Fantasy XIV. It's not happening. A lot of people were asking that question. Then they got into what is going to happen with FF14, which is really interesting. Um, they want to make it more available to people that don't play MMOs. Not by changing the gameplay. The gameplay is going to stay the same. But they want to make it also work as a single player game. So there's a trust system for the dungeons in the new expansions, and you can run through them the first time that you get to that level with a set of NPCs at that level. And the
Okay.
NPCs have dialogue and stuff like that, and it's really cool. After you've beaten the expansion, you can go back and run dungeons with those trusts again, but you have to level them. They start at the start of the level of the expansion, and you have to level them up
Mm,
to be able to run those dungeons with them again.
okay.
It's a weird little thing. You get achievements in the game for leveling them up all the way. They're
I like
going
that.
back and adding trust to all of the Realm Reborn dungeons.
Yeah, this is a little bit like I think this is a good fix and a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because I solo a lot.
Yes.
Uh, and on when Lotro first came out, there were points in the storyline that's like you'd have to sit and wait because you're not going to get through there on the single player. You can't, not unless you're way above level, right?
Yes.
And then
Well, we're
trying to
going to
get
get to
way
that,
above
Faith.
level, um, when you by the time you get to that level, I mean
Yeah.
it'd be impossible to get to that level almost without doing it. But they also have these soldiers that you can use in your skirmishes.
Hmm.
So you have somebody, a character that you can level up, um, and they have a variety of them, so you can kind of match them to what you are,
Right.
uh, or what you think you need. Going through that, so it sounds like they've taken it and it's like, look, we're gonna give you a group
Mm-hmm.
to really go in, all in on this stuff, and doing it that way, you get to allow people to have experience stuff that they're not otherwise wouldn't.
You do. It also allows people, because FF14 allows you to play all the jobs on the same, all the classes on the same character, allows people to go, I want to try this class, but I don't want to, like a healer or a tank or one of the different classes in the same group, and go, hey, I don't want to put out random people that I don't know. I'm going to run with these NPCs so that I can see how this class plays, which I think is really cool. They also are not going to just have a group that follows you. It's going to be different NPCs that make sense for the story around each of the dungeons. Which is really interesting because it means in specific dungeons, I know who they're picking already. And I now have to go back through those dungeons with the NPCs because the NPCs have specific dialogue in those dungeons. And so I want to know what that person says at that point in that dungeon. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's very
That's another
cool.
another reason to run it again.
Yes. However, they will not be removing the 8-man trials and adding trust to those. So you'll
That's
have
good.
trust in all the 4-man content, but in the
Yeah.
8-man full party content, you will still have to go online and play with other people.
No, I think
So
that's good
I
because
think so
like
too.
that, because like I'm gonna obviously reference Lotro.
Hmm.
That's what I play. They left the raids alone, like the
Right.
12 man and stuff like that. Yeah, you can't. You need to get with people
That's right.
in ship. So there's still you can play the game and you can go through all the whole storyline, enjoy it as single player, and never partner up with anybody.
Hmm.
You know, and you can go through the whole game in a giant kinship the whole time.
Right.
You know, and I think there's a good balance. And I'm glad to hear that Final Fantasy 14 is kind of leaning into that.
Hmm.
It's like, hey,
Now,
we're
it
gonna
won't be till
go ahead.
next expansion, 7.0.
Mm-hmm.
That's when all this is coming. They wanted to go and give us a heads up about it now, because if you're leveling classes, you need to you need to level them now. Um, there is a daily roulette you can run called MSQ roulette. It gives you almost a full level's worth of XP, no matter what level you currently are. It is
Dang.
very, very good. But you are going through 2 instances in a realm reborn. You get randomly one of the two, right? Whichever one it puts you in. Uh, and those instances have a bunch of cutscenes in those dungeons. Uh, like one of them is an hour long, basically an hour and a half long, and you're queuing into that. You can't skip the cutscenes because they want people to be able to enjoy the story.
Mm.
Used to, you could skip the cutscenes, and by the time a new player got through the first cutscene, the whole group had already beaten the second main boss of the dungeon. So, if you want that free XP, basically, now's the time to get it because those dungeons are being removed. And instead, they're going to be reworked, and it's going to be a lot more dynamic to play. It's not going to be as boring. Um, there is a trial that's being removed as well called Cape Westwind. For anybody who doesn't know, Cape Westwind is the toughest trial in the game. If you're not careful, your healers will die instantly to the missile spam that Ratat and Sasabrina uses. It's not. It's the most difficult trial in the game. The ads are insane. They're not. The ads are so hard to kill that you have to get a tank on them immediately or you're going to wipe. You're not. So they're removing it. And so if you want to experience Cape Westwood for what it is right now, you should do it. It's going to be changed into an instance because it's a joke of a trial. It,
I'm so confused. It's almost like you write reviews for a living.
that's right. Yeah, no, you should check that stuff out if you've never done it. Go ahead and level through just to see it, but it is good that these things are being removed. I know some people are a little mad about it, but like it's a good thing. It will be a better experience for new players all around because of it.
Okay.
But that's not all we're getting. Uh, there is a graphical update coming.
Oh, that's always good news.
Very cool. They specifically showed an extremely high-res photorealistic version of the Warrior of Light, and then said, "No, we're not doing this.
Okay. Okay.
The servers would burn, and so would your computers. We're not doing this."
Oh.
So it's a pretty cool looking graphical update. The main thing is they're fixing the lighting and some coloring, and that is it's a pretty big difference. I'm gonna pull up the picture here that they
Well,
did.
a lot of people like look if you're playing on a PC and it gives you an option to turn off dynamic lighting. A lot of times it's a good idea, and your
Yeah.
game will look better. A lot of games just don't have it right. They don't. The process is there, the software is there, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So here's an
that
image showcasing the difference of what it's going to look like. And obviously they're trying to find more ways to make it look even better. But just the lighting alone, the shadows, there's actually a shadow under the desk now. Like
mm.
it's a pretty big difference, even though it doesn't seem like it just looking at these screenshots.
No, the one on the right's much clearer.
Yeah. Yeah, the servers were already hot. We don't need photorealism. But there's a different image that I think shows it better, but it does spoil a boss, so I'm not gonna show that. But it looks quite a bit better. They'll also be redoing grass textures and some other textures to make the open world look a whole lot better, which would be really nice. More memory for every zone, which means that things can have extra textures and look better. They can add more NPCs to things. It's going to be good, I think. And they specifically say, hey, again, this stuff is not coming for a little while. We understand it's going to be graphically intensive on a lot of PCs. We're doing our best to reduce the load, but we want the game to look good into the future as well, not
I wonder if
just,
they're,
left behind.
I wonder if they're gonna offer two options. Like, hey, we know some of y'all are playing on older systems.
Yeah,
Here's the you can choose the older graphics. Um, Once again, that's something Lord of the Rings can do. You can choose the high res graph package. Well, look, it's
right,
still dated, right?
right.
Like an extra 6 gig you got to download. But if your computer's not going to run that, if you
Yeah,
have an old computer, you can use the older graphics
right,
with that, which may not be an option because they're getting a graphics upgrade, which is probably going to be a lot more intensive, obviously, than
yeah,
what Final Fantasy is. They need it. You know,
yeah, it
Final
does.
Fantasy, Final Fantasy is going from last generation to this generation graphic wise.
Mm,
Uh, Basically just by fixing some lighting issues.
it
Lotro's got
is.
about seven generations to go through.
Right.
They need, they need to for improved graphics.
And
So
it's starting to show in 14 because you can run the new stuff
hmm
at a much higher resolution. Everything
yeah,
looks great. And then
yeah,
your character walks on screen and their armor doesn't.
yeah.
Like the armor sets look good, but when you get a close up on Raban's shoulder and you can see every texture, like every square in his cape, it's like, yeah, it needs to be redone. There's nothing they
Yeah.
can do right now. But they also wanted to make sure everybody understood clipping will still be an issue. They cannot fix clipping without overhauling the way that the animation rigging works. So you will still clip. Don't think they're fixing clipping. They're just fixing textures. But
For the record.
I'm excited. They also ended it with like a Q&A that if you haven't beaten Endwalker, you should not read. It's full of spoilers. Uh,
They gave you time.
yeah, but there's a okay. I'll put it this way to avoid spoilers. There's a character that dies in Endwalker, and a question is asked of like, well, is that character really dead? And Yoshipi's response is like, well, I mean, you saw what happened on screen, and they're like, okay, so he's dead. And the Yoshipi goes, yeah, probably. Like,
Clever.
but you should know what you're getting into. I agree, and you will still have clipping. That's a thing that's happening. So
Yeah.
yeah. There's gonna be somebody in the comments that's like, Trey, Cape Westwind can be read in less than 30 seconds. What are you talking about? It's like that's
Right.
the joke.
Yeah.
That's the joke. If you've never gotten to Cape Westwind, had a new player who's like, "Ooh, first 8-man trial. Here we go. I'm nervous." You have to tell them it's the hardest thing in the game. You give them a list of mechanics they have to do, and then you clear the instance in no time at all, and they're just going, "Huh?"
Yeah. Good job.
Like, "Oh, great job, newbie. We couldn't have made it without you."
I just zoned in and there's GGs everywhere. What's going on?
So yeah, that's FF14. But talk to me about your news for the future of a thing that we both love.
Okay, look. I knew yours would be good. I have faith in what they're doing over there. So I want to jump into the Amazon Lord of the Rings of Power, which really, come on, that's kind of a weak name.
Yep.
It's not a Lord of the Rings name. If look, somebody comes up and goes, "Hey, have you seen Rings of Power?" It's I'm expecting something like Shang-Chi or something.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I realize it's the 20 rings. That would probably been a better name. Anyway, so there's a lot of flack about it, and I haven't posted or really said anything about it, but I really think Amazon picked the wrong fandom this time.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much that's described and laid out in this world. And I've also seen the arguments kind of twisted a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try to give where I'm coming from on this, and hopefully you'll understand. I'm going to start out with Galadriel,
Yeah.
because she is like one of my favorite heroines of all time. Look, the scene with Kate Blanchett The mirror scene,
Yep.
that is one of the most powerful sexy scenes in film ever
Hmm.
filmed, and it's woman. It is feminine.
Yeah.
It is female.
Yeah.
It
It's
is
very good.
and it's the power of that. And that's what Galadriel is, right?
Hmm.
That's where her power comes in. She is a powerful power. She doesn't wear armor,
Yeah. She doesn't need
She
it.
doesn't. No, and it's from the first image. And look, it goes on because these are going to sound minor at first, but it goes on, and Amazon's really doing a disservice. Um, that's not no offense to the actress playing, but that's for the moment seeing her in that armor.
Hmm.
That's not Galadriel,
Right.
and her story coming across and traveling. There's more why you won't get the true story of Galadriel. I'll get into that in a minute because anyway. So that's first. Now I've seen a lot of people complain from one defending the movie, saying the people are upset about a black dwarf, and
Right.
I don't think that's true. I have no problem with, or I don't
Yeah. Why
have
would
any
you?
trouble with a black dwarf. Well, you got to remember what Tolkien spoke about is in the east of Middle Earth.
Right.
What happened in the west? And there's four tribes over there,
Hmm.
right? Four tribes of dwarfs. You got that we don't know anything about.
Right.
We've got the Blacklocks, which guess what color their beards and everything was, right?
Right.
We're going to take from that the stiff beards, the broadside. I think there's one other, but there's four over there.
Right.
You know, they could,
Sure. Why not?
yeah.
There's
Tell
two
me,
more wizards too. Why
yeah,
not?
yeah. There's two more wizards that we don't have.
Yeah.
You can make the story of, and so my problem is not that there's a black dwarf. My problem
Right.
is one, she doesn't have a beard. Two, you're
Yeah.
telling me this is this,
Yeah.
right? And she is the daughter of Thrain. Well, that's a little bit different,
My
you
main
know.
issue is just that it's the you want to take named characters and put them in these situations that I don't necessarily think they would be in,
Yeah.
doing things that I don't necessarily think they would do. It's the same thing that I have with Expanse, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
but that's not him. What do you mean?
Well, they keep, and this keeps getting hammered home. And look, I've seen people to try to defend it with, well, look, we accepted it with a Hobbit. No, no, we didn't.
No,
No,
that
no
movie's
Lord of the
terrible.
Rings fans,
That
Lord of the
series
Rings
of movies,
fans likes the Hobbit,
right?
you know. And look, hardcore Tolkien book fans tolerate the movies.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
they do. I love the
I
movies.
do too. I adore the
Um,
movies.
the Ring movies, the Lord of the Ring movies.
I
But
think
yeah,
they're a good example of deviating from the books, but still telling a really good story
yeah.
without ruining the characters.
I don't think any character got completely changed out in that. And it now the elf being a black guy. One, that's not the main. He looks honestly, he looks like a Vulcan.
Sure.
He does the way they he's very clean cut.
Hmm.
I don't know how to describe it. I think he looks like a perfect Vulcan.
Right.
Um, but then again, see with elves we get a description. They're from very pale to olive.
Hmm.
A deep olive greenish skin. We get an idea. We haven't a set thing for them.
Right.
And going to and here's the thing. I want this to be great. I want stories from the second age. I want this to
Yeah.
to work and be perfect. And it turns out that they don't have rights to the Silmarillion or Unfinished Tales
Yep.
or anything that deals with the Second Age.
Yep.
And that's really a bummer because there's a line that Tolkien wrote about the Second Age that I think would make for some amazing, amazing scenes. And if you don't know, during the Second Age, when everybody was standing against Sauron during that time, um, he said that every living thing was divided except the elves.
Right.
That means you would have, obviously humans fighting humans, dwarves
Right.
fighting dwarves. You would have trolls fighting trolls, orcs fighting orcs,
Right.
wargs fighting wargs. Everything was divided. And there's just so many stories that coming out of that. But it turns out they don't have the rights to any of that.
Right.
So you have the rights to The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and the appendices. That's it. And you're going off a few things in the appendices. Look, if somebody else did the prequels for Star Wars based just off the few lines of what Obi-Wan Kenobi said, You'd
Right.
kind of be, it probably wouldn't make much sense.
Right.
Or the Clone Wars, oh, we have one line. Now you do have a little bit more stuff than that.
Right.
Okay, so you telling me that you have the rights to, you could have redone the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You could have done us all a favor and made a great Hobbit
Oh yeah.
and done the Hobbit some justice. You have the rights to that.
Hmm.
You know, they and then turns out that they're like, well, we're writing stories that Tolkien we're writing the stories and novels that Tolkien didn't. We're writing
Yeah.
in this. And if you will take an honest look going through the fans, this is not white people, you know,
Right.
complaining about this. This is fans of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I if you tell if you tell me you have a diversity quota, make the story work for it.
I agree.
Okay? You don't have to do this to establish this is English Norse
Yeah.
mythology, right? I'm sorry. If you do Romance of the Three Kingdoms, I don't
Yeah.
want to see white people.
I
If
agree.
you do a story
100%.
about if you do a story about Shango,
Yeah.
the African god of lightning,
Right.
I don't want to see white people.
I agree.
I want to see a big rocking dude with, two double-headed axes that's the
Right.
god of lightning,
Yeah.
No white look. You can come to me and say, "Look, I don't think stories of minorities are being," and I will agree with you.
Right. 100%.
And look, and if you want to do that, Danny Glover has been trying to get a story of the Haitian Revolution done for 40 years.
Yeah.
40 years. And look,
Yeah.
yeah, there'll be white people at the beginning of that movie. There won't be any
Yeah.
at the end of
No,
it.
not by the end. Not by the end.
There won't be any white people at the end of it. I want that movie made. I want Danny
Yeah.
Glover to do it.
I agree.
There's so many stories. Look. I tell you what. Just in case anybody from Amazon sees this, and you really want to do something to promote minority stories, let's say for Black people, do Shango. I tell you what, there's a book called African Mythology A to Z by
Yeah.
Patricia Ann Lynch.
Yeah.
Start there. There are some amazing, amazing folk. Don't.
Where is Static Shock?
Wait, yes, the stories are there. Use them. You know, dude, I don't want to see Egyptian. If you're telling me the story about the Nilantic people, I
Yeah.
don't want to see Egyptians.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's it there's so many wonderful. If you take any country, any piece of land, and study it, study the
Yes.
past 500 years of it, you're going to
Incredible
see
cultures.
in stories of beauty. You're going to see evil, the most evil you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
You'll see all the whole range, and their stories there.
Yes.
And I don't care what the color of their skin is.
Right.
What I care about is a good story.
Yes, I agree 100%. And that's where I take the most umbrage here is we're writing what Tolkien didn't. Well, you're saying that your writers are as good at writing in this world that Tolkien made as he is. I would take umbrage with this the same way. I'm not a big fan of I completely just forgot her name. That's how much I'm not a big fan of her. J.K. Rowling, right? But if somebody
Okay.
said, "Hey, I'm going to write the book that Rowling never could," like, well, she made that world. I may not like a lot of her views, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you're going to write a better book in her world than she did. You could write a different book in her world. You could write a different book in Tolkien's. You could write a different book in anybody's world.
That's
And
what I'm
maybe
saying.
it'll be great.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's going to be what they were making, you know?
Yeah. And the fact is, there's stories out there, and I feel bad for because I cannot remember these authors' names that could have used this whole setup.
Yeah.
And you know what? In their stories, there's black elves, and nobody has a problem with it.
Yeah.
Because it's not Middle Earth. They've made
Right.
their own world. And
Well,
in
The
this
Witcher,
world,
The Witcher has that, you know?
yeah, exactly.
It's
They-
fine.
if they'd have said, "Hey, we were really inspired by Tolkien, but this isn't Middle Earth.
Right.
This is Undadan.
Right. Sure.
Hey, let's roll."
Yeah.
You know?
You give me a new fantasy thing on television, I'm there. It
Yeah.
takes no convincing to get me into a new fantasy show.
Yeah. They're just, and I realize that I'm a little different, and I'm going to go look, and I love stories from my culture and other cultures,
Right.
because there's a little bit of truth in there, and a lot of it crosses over in really
Yeah, it
interesting
does.
ways.
It does.
And yes, I
We're all
do believe
people.
those stories need to be told.
We're all people. We make yeah, we're an old fantasy show like Stargate. Yeah, we're all people. We all at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we may have a bunch of different histories, but we all come back to the same like beginnings of culture. It all leads
Yeah.
to the same thing. So the ideas that we all
Yeah.
have all come from the same places. So why I don't know. I
I
could
don't
just keep
know.
going.
I can too because, like I was talking about, if you study the story, I said like Shango, which is
Hmm.
from kind of Western Africa, Sub-Sahara,
Yeah.
Western Africa. Um, they deal with, just like they do in many ancient mythology and religions. They deal
Right.
with jealousy. They deal with human emotions, and through that, they tell the story and how you're supposed to act.
Yeah.
And lessons learned. These are important stories.
And just to
That
clarify, if our problem, we've made our problems with this very, very obvious. But if this is not just against Amazon, like anybody that does this kind of thing. And if you're going, well, I'm not going to watch the show because there's a black dwarf. Well, why?
no,
Why are you like
no,
this? Why?
yeah, that's
That's
absolutely
dumb.
ridiculous.
What?
No, you've my right now my biggest fan, because I'm huge. Like I said, I am a huge fan
Hmm.
of Galadriel.
Right.
I am a huge fan of Kate Blanchett because like I said, but that scene is just amazing to me. And look, I realize that if I stepped into to her realm,
Right.
that every elf on that edge would get a vision of Gladriel in his head going, "Just shoot him.
Yeah, for sure.
Em- Empty your quiver. Don't don't
Take him
retrieve those.
down.
Do not retrieve those arrows. Have two elves take him out, burn the body, and then those two elves are exiled.
Yeah,
Okay,
they can never come home again.
but like I said, there's such a power. And stop, please. I have so many feminine heroes,
Yeah.
female heroines that I
Yeah.
grew up with. Gladriel being one, right? Ripley,
Yeah.
played by the wonderful Sigourney
Yes.
Weaver. She's 6'1". She's an Amazon. She's a
She's
goddess.
great.
You know, I have all these great female heroes that embraced that were female. They were
Mhm.
feminine. And just like males, there's strengths and weaknesses in that.
That's right.
And the story is, how do you cut the best stories are, hey, they're working through their weaknesses,
Yes.
and their strengths are helping them overcome. Like I said, it feels so lazy and shoehorned, and then
Mm.
you fire the world. You have at your disposal the world's preeminent Tolkien scholar,
Right.
and then you fire him because you know he said, well, probably because he wants to stick to the lore.
Right.
So
Unfortunately, they don't have Christopher Lee standing over there saying, that's not how it was written.
yeah, and like I said, I want this to work. I want this to be great, absolutely great. Yeah, Christopher Lee. That's not the sound a man makes when he's stabbed in the back. Well, you know what? We'll do it your way then,
Yeah.
sir.
Go for it.
Your way. That sounds good. And roll.
Yep. Oh. Well,
Yeah, it's just
I think
sad.
we've hit basically said all we can say without just reiterating
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But
I'll keep ranting from this point. And like, yeah, if y'all want to do something, support Danny Glover getting that movie made. I think
yeah,
that would be an amazing film. Ugh.
I don't
Next,
have a good
next piece of
segue for
news.
this. I
Well,
don't have a good segue at all. So,
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
oh,
hold on. I think Danny Glover should make this film. It will be. I think it's his destiny.
oh. Let's talk about something else people are very mad about. Destiny 2 uh, has a new expansion coming up, right? Everybody's excited for new expansions, right? This is the Witch Queen campaign. Witch Queen.
Yeah.
Well, Destiny 2 is an MMO. It's MMO FPS. You
Yeah.
you grind and you level and you get to access the new content because you leveled up.
Yeah, you work for it.
But they announced starting on February 22nd, the power floor, which is your level for anybody who doesn't know, will be updated to 1350. Any player who signs in will be at appropriate power levels to start the Witch Queen campaign, even if they've taken a recent break from the game.
No. Leave my character alone.
So basically, if you go to play this and you are like, man, I can't wait to play through some of this older stuff to build up to this. I'm excited.
Well, yeah.
you can't because you're auto leveled. You're way higher leveled than the stuff now. You're gonna out level everything. Also, you can't play the Forsaken campaign anyway because it's being removed.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
That's what, like the whole. Oh, you don't need those levels anyway. There's nothing there. No
yeah,
content.
yeah.
Oh my
But
god.
the, the number of comments that are just like, so what have I grinded for the last 4 months? Well,
Yeah, this is so stupid. And you know, there's I don't know if Final Fantasy has one. Does Fantasy have a way to slow your experience or to stop it?
not really. You hit cap, and then you
Just a
have some
cap?
stuff that doesn't give XP.
Well, you can do in Lotro. They've got a stone you can buy. It's like 110 Lotro points, something like that. But when you equip it, you stop leveling.
Yeah,
You know, and you don't. There's still a bunch of stuff to do.
yeah,
You know, because you're going to level before you're finishing that thing.
right.
So man, I would be like really upset somebody if like Standing Stone went, well, you know, we just released Gun to Bed, so we're going to take your 10th level character that you've had at 10th level for a couple years and just
Yeah,
make him level 140.
yeah,
Like, no, I got stuff to do.
right.
Cause like I
And
said, the games we play don't take stuff paid that you paid for
right, and
and
take them
remove it from the
away.
game.
And just to clarify, technically, there is nothing that you can't get into now with that higher light level. They gate off new content with light levels,
Yeah.
but now you're gonna be at the level where you can just go straight into it. And it just sticks with a thing of the only thing that matters is the current content. There's no point in grinding. There's no point in trying to get cool stuff because they're going to take your guns away. They're going to take your levels away. They're going to take your zones away. There's no point in playing this game other than presently just when the content drops and then stop because you might as well not even grind.
Let it
Go play
happen.
something
Yeah.
else. They're just going to give you the
Just
levels
wait.
anyway.
Here's the thing: if you want to do, there's actually a template, and I don't like the game. But there's actually a template for do this. It'll get your players excited. Fortnite has changed completely the
Yeah.
map and everything else that
Yeah.
goes with it twice now, maybe
Yeah.
more. You know, and I realize they're a different type of player, but their players are very happy with it.
Hmm.
Or, also, it's free to play though, right? So they can really do what they want with it. But this is just insane. You know, I don't. There's plenty of games where I've been in, so like I'm not ready to go to the next place yet.
Yeah.
You know, both
It would be
MMOs and single player.
it would be one thing if this was optional,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
not.
What I'm saying, you've got the thing in Final Fantasy where you can, let's say if your player's been playing for, or you've been playing for a long time, somebody finally wants to come along, they really don't want to grind all the way up, you can move them up. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they can grab some levels with an item the same way. And there's a few MMOs that do that. Lotro does that, and I believe it's in maybe EverQuest 2. It's a long time since I put it in that. But you know, it's an optional thing,
Right.
or there's a reason why. Hey, look, you want to start out a player, take this, you
Yeah.
use it as an item, and now you're now you're max level, and you have all the we'll give you all these things that can kind of
Yeah.
help you out and keep going. You know, it's not a stiff arm thing.
Right.
No,
But
where it's like that part of the story doesn't matter anymore.
right. But Faith, to be able to do that, you have to buy the potion to be able to skip. It's an optional thing. And those zones are still there. You can go back to them, unlike in Destiny, where they just don't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's even
Uh,
worse.
I'm not gonna say that the official Destiny Twitter account deleted tweets because I'm not legally allowed to make those accusations. But what I am gonna say is that when this was announced, there was a lot of negative pushback on their tweet, and none of that is there now. All the tweets in response are all positive.
Yeah.
I'm sure those people just changed their mind and deleted their own tweets. I'm sure.
What it was.
Yeah, they must have.
Uh, that's nuts, man. That's just it. That
Uh,
and I realize there's players that love this game, and people are obviously playing it right. And I feel bad for them because it's something there's things bigger than just gameplay. A lot of times, it's the characters and the world and all kinds of things. And the people you meet in there, and it's just how. What's another way we can show that we really don't care about our customers' pocketbook
yeah.
or investment in the game?
And
It's,
like, don't get me wrong, if you haven't been playing, this is your chance to go play the new stuff with your friends, right? But that's why it should be optional. Or
yeah.
even like a purchasable thing. And I hate to put it that way and like say that's a good thing. But again, imagine this in any other MMO. Imagine not even if we don't say level, we just say power, right? Imagine you log in to the new expansion and you are given the highest tier rating weapon,
Yeah.
like
What are
as
you
if you
playing
were in
for?
the world first group.
Yeah, it's nuts. No, I don't like this. I don't like it at all.
Yeah,
It makes me, I don't know, makes me want to blow off steam.
it's. Speaking of Steam, though, thank you for that wonderful segue.
Working
Uh,
on it.
Steam Games Fest is up.
Yep. They got a couple things to cheer about this year.
There's a lot of demos. Leveling up helps you learn your weapon class, and so for what it's worth, Destiny 2 doesn't have that where you leveling up that way. It's power, but
Yeah.
again, you
Still
have to
feels
do
weird.
very difficult content, grind it out to be able to get higher power level, and now you just if you did all that, I hope you had fun doing it because. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Steam Games Fest is where they put out a lot of demos. In the past, I have worked myself half to death trying to get all these demos covered. We don't do that anymore. I'm not playing 100 games in 4 days. Uh, but I do have a list of demos that I'm going to be trying out. Hopefully, they work. And if so, then there'll be videos made on some of those. But there's some big games in here that I wanted to highlight real quick. Stuff like Ixion, which is a pretty big city builder in space. Free demo. You can play right now until the 28th. The Wandering Village, which is a pretty big farming sim on the back of a giant creature that's moving around the world. We saw that at the Game Awards. That is now currently able to be played a demo of, which is really cool. You have stuff like Scathe, which is a FPS bullet hell. Stuff like Little Orpheus, which is a puzzle game that's been getting a lot of acclaim. Far Changing Tides, which is coming to Game Pass when it comes out, which is a 2.5D atmospheric post-apocalyptic platformer. Play the demo today. You can try all this stuff out. Builders of Egypt was a big one that people were really excited for because it's got a lot of historical stuff in it. Later, Will.
Hey, well, I just want you to know that before you go, I have started my Gundam journey, and we will be talking about it at some point. I'm just a few episodes in, but just so you know.
Yeah. And how about like Neon White, which is the weird card based action platformer that looks really cool. Stuff like that. Just go down the list. You can download any of these and play them up until the 28th. There's a lot of different stuff, including a brand new 40K game that is about orcs that I'm excited to try out the demo of. 40K Shooters, Blood, and Teeth. So, you know.
Well,
But
this is one of the strengths. This is one of the strengths of Steam, right?
yeah.
Being able to do this every once in a while and just like here, try all this out.
There's
And they
also
got,
Dark's not here, but I just wanted to throw this out for Dark for when Dark watches the VOD. There is a demo for a game called Slimy Sextant, which is where you become a slime monster and
yeah,
can do some stuff.
plasmoid,
So
plasmoids.
throwing that out there.
Yeah, which you'd have to be tuned into the Thursday night D&D podcast to
That's right. I'll have to leave a little like.
plasmoid. Nice.
There is a game I'm excited to try though, which is called Kaiju Princess. Time management
Okay.
with kaiju's. So hopefully that's good and not. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes you get like cool kaiju games and then they're just sex simulators. So like people get monster girls. People get
Yeah,
interesting with those. Uh,
yeah.
is it like the boyfriend game? I hope not. I hope it's not like Boyfriend Dungeon. But yeah, there's a lot of. I do have a list too of the ones that I've downloaded. I'm gonna be trying out Song of the Prairie, Card Shark, Interdimension, Iron Oath, Shoot His Blood and Teeth, Ixion, Wandering Village, Unliving, Soldiers, Neon White, and TFM if they all run and if I have time. So
Yeah.
look forward to
Also,
hearing me talk about some of those.
this kind of going into the next story, next year's fest probably going to be pretty interesting.
Yes, because Bethesda is killing their launcher,
Yeah.
and all of their games are moving to Steam.
That yeah. Look, this needed to happen.
Yes, yes, the Bethesda launcher was bad.
Yeah. Now look, it's Rockstar. Go ahead,
Yeah,
follow suit. Do,
please.
do us all a favor. And follow suit. No, this is I am excited about this because, like I said, Steam's kind of a unique thing, obviously,
Mhm.
and for they've obviously had some dismal failures trying to get a deck out
Yeah,
going through, but with Bethesda on this list, and you know, Steam gets to advertise and show off like independent
right,
game makers as well as some of the big boys, and having just for the independent stuff, having your game on the same page with the next Elder Scrolls or
right. It's a big thing.
it is. And so I think on many levels I'm kind of pleased with this.
Yeah, me too. And like you said, I want everybody else to follow suit. I'm not saying you can't have your own launchers, but like you play launchers bad, the Rockstar launchers bad.
Yeah,
Just roll it into Steam, man.
and- yeah. Let Steam take care of the launcher and the EULA rights to
Yes,
owning the game and all that. And yeah, y'all make the games. Don't work on launchers.
pants in the Ghostbusters video game you can follow. Well, there you go.
Actually, they follow you. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's a
Yeah, I think
big
that's cool.
thing.
I really do.
And speaking of big things coming, Square has announced. There's a second like Square Enix thing that I could talk about, I guess, after this. But Square has announced that they're going to be making some more HD 2D remakes.
That's a big broad. It's about like uh, they got a big catalog, is what I'm saying.
Yes. A lot of
And
people already asking for ActRaiser or Chrono Trigger.
yeah,
Chrono Trigger in that art style would be incredible.
well, I, it's kind of interesting. I'm trying to think back, because there's so like well, they're sticking to 2D. I say, I wonder what they mean by 2D. Are they
It's
talking
the
about
Octopath and
platform?
Live a Live style.
Right. Okay. And not just the platform style.
Right.
I don't know. I think it'd be real cool. I'm trying to think of the what the crystals, Final Fantasy Tech crystals,
Yeah, Crystal Chronicles.
Crystal Chronicles. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And a few of those. It's just a lot back there would be really nice to see come up because
Yes.
I don't. It's not going to be. It's not really. It's a weird thing for a lot of women to do because it's not really a graphical update.
Right.
It is, but it isn't. You know, it's those graphics working on higher definition screens.
Boyfriend game sounds hot. Boyfriend Dungeons should be a good game, and it's just not, and it makes me so sad. I want to date my sword. Now, I have seen a lot of
Ugh.
people saying, well, this means Chrono Trigger's confirmed because we just got the announcement of the Chrono Cross stuff. The pixel remasters for Final Fantasy 1 through 6 are confirmed and done for the most part, but there's nothing on Chrono Trigger, even though it has the same mobile version on Steam that the other ones did before. So it's a lot of people saying, hey, Chrono Cross is being remade. Chrono Trigger didn't get a pixel remaster. Chrono Trigger going to get a HD2D?
Yeah, I'm trying right now. I'm trying to think of because um the PSP had a lot of Square Enix that was like updated for it.
Yes, it
It didn't
did.
come out on anything else.
Yes,
A lot
and
of
it
the Final
had
Fantasy games, they
brand
had a
new
Final
games too,
Fantasy.
like FF42.
Yeah, and stuff coming out. So I'm wondering what if they're reaching into that catalog as well because there's
FF42
just
was not good though. Sorry, After Years was not good.
yeah the but the big disappointment for me will always be Final Fantasy 2. That was just
Yeah,
such a pain. But I don't know, man. There's a lot in there and quite a few games that I would probably go through again, and some that I'd play for the first time,
Yeah,
depending on what they decide to drop with this and where it drops.
for sure. I agree. Didn't that happen in a game or was it an anime? Dating the sword? It's happened in a couple anime, I believe, where the weapons were people. But
Yeah, more than that. Well, you know, I think that sounds pretty epic.
yeah, and speaking of Epic, Epic is doing something pretty epic.
Yeah.
So, for a long time, video game testers have been given the short end of the stick, as it were. Paper boats, yes, yes. Uh, I can confirm the two of you do in fact know each other. Don't know how much I'm allowed to say. Uh, we may have all worked together at a certain umbrella factory. Uh, no, testers get the short end of the stick, right?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways,
At best, they're hired on as contractors.
right.
At best.
It sucks to be a video game tester. It really does. Um, because you get to play video games and you get paid for it, and that should be great. But nobody listens to what you say, and you get paid marginally because, like you said, at best, contractors, and you don't get insurance, you don't get anything, you don't get leave, you don't get paid time off. Um,
And you don't get to it. And look, let's face it, you have a time limit and a work schedule.
yes,
Um, you may not get to enjoy the game to really test it out because you've got to push through.
yeah,
You've got to have this. You have to have this level tested. You have to have this far. You have to have done that.
right.
There's requirements to it.
But Epic Games is hiring on a bunch of their testers as full time employees, giving them full time benefits, giving them PTO, giving them sick time and vacation pay, and just basically making them all like actual employees, like they always should have been. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, and this is. I understand. Like I said, I understand independence. Hey, man, I need somebody to play this game and
Yeah.
see what goes on. I understand. I understand, but Epic is. I think Epic's really stepping up here.
Yeah,
They're a
I agree.
big game company, been around for a long
Just
time.
weird to say because I normally don't like them, but this is good.
Yeah, this is no, this is a good thing, and I understand your sentiment for sure, but the fact they're doing this because this is not. Look at Epic's library. Look what they got coming out. This is not a small group of people
Yeah.
that that they've given a leg up to, or improved their status of employment.
Yeah, this is hundreds of employees that are now employees, which is great, especially like in the time that we're in right now, having
Yeah,
things like sick time
yeah,
and
you're
PTO.
right.
That's really nice to have.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think this is a strong move. I'm hoping some other game companies follow
follow
suit.
suit. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, yeah. Go figure. Something as basic as PTO is like actually kind of important.
yeah.
Oh, but
I
that's
ain't gonna make
all.
it. You can make a difference between you going to the hospital or not.
That's right. That's all the news I have for the week. We're gonna throw it over to Rungren's corner.
Yeah. All right. Right on. Okay. First of all, I got to say happy birthday to Tom Higginson. You may not know that name, but if you've heard the song "Hey There Delilah," he was the singer-songwriter of that. So
Oh,
happy birthday to him.
yeah. Happy
Happy
birthday. I
birthday.
hate that
Yeah.
song. Happy
Yep. Well,
birthday.
anyway, you know who he is, though, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Now I have something to bring up. Um, by Alexander McCall Smith,
Okay.
and this we're reading it from reading over this and talking about parts of this a little bit from their point of view, but this really kind of upset me. The original article was called "And the Band Played Badly."
Yeah.
Uh, Starts out asking, why should real musicians, the ones who actually play their instruments, have all the fun?
Oh
I
no.
have many answers to that, but
Oh
we
no.
shall continue. Yeah, apparently some years ago in Scotland, 1707 treaty, we're good. They that they decided that in playing in an orchestra should not be limited to those who are good enough to do so, but should be available to the rankest of amateurs. So they founded the Really Terrible Orchestra. That is the name.
Okay. All right.
An inclusive orchestra for those who really want to play, but who cannot do so very well, or cannot do so at all in some cases. Apparently, the person who started this, they play the bassoon. They described their playing as standard. They've never quite mastered the C sharp, and they're weak above the notes of high D. So in general, they just leave those notes out when they come up
Oh
in the
no.
music. Ah, uh, this person's not entirely untutored, of course. They've taken some lessons, um, and having had a course of lessons in the instrument from a music student who looked quite quietly appalled while they played. Most of the players in the orchestra are rather like this. They have learned their instruments at some point in their lives, but have really not learned them very well. So this is like a second chance for people in the really terrible orchestra.
Okay.
I'm trying to be mad about this. The the announcement of the orchestra's funding led to a great wave of applications to join. Uh, the suspicion of the people who started is that there are many people yearning to play in an orchestra, but who were too frightened or too ashamed to do anything about it. And their assumption was proved correct.
Yeah.
They There was no audition. They had toyed with the idea of having a negative audition in which those who were too good would be excluded, but this proved unnecessary because nobody that was good applied. Some of the members are very marginal musicians indeed.
Yeah.
Uh, One of the players, now retired from the orchestra for a period of reevaluation, stopped at the middle B flat before the instrument's natural break. He could go no higher, which was awkward, as that left him very few notes down below. Another, a cellist, who was unfortunately very hard of hearing, was also hazy on the tuning of strings. As an aid memoir, he had very sensibly written the names of the notes in pencil on the bridge. This did not appear to help.
Yeah.
Um, Now, this is something that really kind of made me happy about this, right? Because they employed a professional conductor,
Okay.
uh, and they say it is a must for anybody who is planning to start a similar orchestra.
Right.
They said they found somebody who is very tolerant and has a sense of humor, um, and also has to be pretty, confident to be associated with something called the Really Terrible Orchestra because it goes on the resume.
Right.
Um, they say the original efforts were dire. Their words, bad, but they weren't discouraged. They mastered a few pieces. The mastered it very loosely.
Right.
Use the term very loosely there. They put up a concert. They thought about charging for admission, but then decided against it. That would probably be too far. Um, then they thought about paying people to come. They did get some support for that, but they decided against it. They decided to give people several free glasses of wine before the concert, which
Oh,
is
there you go.
that's
Yeah.
genius. That's what you do. Uh, Turns out that was a great help.
Of course.
The first concert was packed, not just for friends and family, but people who were just interested in the sheer honesty of the orchestra's name, and they came to see who they were. Apparently, there was quite a few rounds of rapturous applause. They had more concerts. Their audience grows. They give an annual concert at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. The hall is full capacity with hundreds of music lovers. Standing ovations are two a penny, is what they say. Which, if
Wow.
you don't understand the phrase, they get a standing ovation a lot.
Yeah.
One critic wrote in the Scotsman newspaper, "How these people presume to play in public is quite beyond me." And another one said, "Dire." That was the whole review. Oh well, that may be so, but they never claim to be anything other than what they are, and they know that they are dire. There's no need to state the obvious.
Right.
Uh, this group got a CD, and to the astonishment of the people of the members of the orchestra, people bought it. An established composer was commissioned to write a piece for them. They performed it and recorded it at a world premiere. And it was conducted by the astonished composer himself. He closed his eyes while composing. Probably he was trying to listen to the music as he expected it to be. Um, Apparently, their statement is now that there is no stopping them. They have become better. They have become no better, but pile on regardless.
Sure.
Uh, this is music is therapy, and many of us feel the better for trying. We remain really terrible, but what fun it is. It does not matter in our view that we sound irretrievably out of tune. It does not matter that on more than one occasion, members of the orchestra have actually been discovered to be playing a different piece of music by different composers at the same time. I am, for one, am not ashamed of these difficulties with C sharp. We persist. After all, we are the really terrible orchestra, and we shall go on. Amateurs arise, make a noise. Dude, I am working for my 10th follower on
Right,
Rumble.
right.
This guy's got a CD.
Even playing the same song.
I love it. No,
Oh,
no, that's actually great.
oh, it's incredible. I love that.
Uh,
Oh,
oh my god.
also, hey Dark, you should check out a demo. Somebody made a demo just for you on Steam for the Steam Games Fest. It's called Slimy Sextant. They made it just for
Yes,
you.
just for you.
Uh,
You play a plasmoid.
do you have any plugs tonight? Which is something I wish I didn't have to say after we just mentioned Slimy Sextant.
Where is this podcast going? What are we talking about now?
It's called
I don't know.
Slimy Sextant.
The last word's a tent. I'm not sure. That's
Yeah. I
something in a
saw it
tent.
and immediately thought of you, Dark.
No, once again, I'm going to shamelessly plug my music. Please go listen. I'm looking for my 10th follower
Yeah, let me link
on
it again.
Rumble. There needs to be more art over there, and right now, unfortunately, I'm one of the ones they got. So it's going good. I want to thank everybody for watching. Y'all are absolutely awesome. I love you. Took thousands of years and millions of people to make you. There's never ever been anything like you, and there never will
That's right.
again. So the fact that you spend time with us is just absolutely awesome.
Play Fortnite? No. Thank
Oh.
you though. No. My girlfriend's cousin has been trying to get me to play with them, and I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to download it at some point, I'm sure. But no, I mean, if you missed the podcast, that's okay. We understand. This goes up on YouTube over at youtube.com/c/the full spectrum. You can check us out over there. I will link that in the chat as well. These go up the day after they are live. com/c/spectrum. But you can only see the pre-show if you are on Twitch. So if you are within 2 weeks, you can catch the pre-show live on Twitch. You're VN for review. I understand. But you can check us out there, and you can find all of our stuff, including all the weird videos that I make, gaming stuff, the reviews. There'll be some more tokusatsu coming on the channel soon. So, lots of cool stuff coming, and hopefully some 40K stuff soon. But we'll also be back Thursday for the D&D podcast. It'll also be at 7 CT. And we'll also go up on the same channel, just in case you can't watch it live. But if you can, please come join us. We have a great time over there. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, as always. Oh, no, Dark. I'll see if I can pull it back up real quick. It's in the Steam Games Fest demos. Maybe I spelled it wrong? So when I saw it, I was like, oh, no, this is a Dark game for sure. How far down was it? Oh, I did spell it wrong. It is this. Tet. There you go.
That's got nothing to do with the tent.
But yeah,
I don't want to play this game at all now. Never mind.
I'll be your slimy sextant. Oh no! But we'll be back Thursday, having a good time there, and then of course we'll be back next Tuesday as well. We will have Elden Ring reviews next week, as well as Destiny reviews next week. Hopefully, I'll have some time to talk about Elden Ring next week as well.
I'm sure you will.
But until next time, I have been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
We've been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the Full Spectrum podcast. I messed it up. Remember to always enjoy the Full Spectrum that life has to offer.